Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Here we are again with another video. You know, it's been a little while. You know, I get caught up in work and I only typically take about one day off, so I really don't want to do anything sometimes. So it's been, you know, a while since I made a video. So, you know, I still haven't installed these front lower control arms. So that's what I'll be doing in this video. Should be quick and easy. And then also I got this stock exhaust from a friend. He let me borrow it to see if it fits. It's from a B series, so I'm not sure if it's gonna fit the B16 Type R. I don't know if the head is, you know, a little longer with the position of the headers. So we'll see how that goes. You know, maybe I could get this pipe to work for me and I could just get it onto a lift and get this thing aligned. Because, you know, like I said before in previous videos, people that have the drive-on, you know, flat alignment system, they have the alignment kit that bolts onto the tires. And since my fenders, you know, well, the suspension is you know, topped out to the max highest, and it's already pretty much, you know, right there with the fenders. So there's no way that new kit will wrap around the tire, and they got to swing it back and forth a little bit for the alignment. So it's definitely not going to work with that. So if I could get those pipes to clear the bottom, because if you guys can see right there, they're sitting so low. I mean, I got the car lifted right now, so you can't really tell, but you know, they sit so low, and every lift has a piece where the hydraulic system kind of crosses over to the other side, and it won't clear that piece. So, you know, that's why I'm thinking of putting that exhaust on there and see if I could get it onto a lift that way. That way we could get a good alignment on this, and it won't, you know, I don't have to go with the old school route with the string, because I did think about doing that. But let's see what we could do out of this, and then we'll go from there. And then another thing I wanted to replace is one of these axle seals on the transmission. My transmission was leaking a little bit of oil, so I'm thinking this is the problem, one of these seals. So I went to Honda and got me a new one. But other than that, this should be a pretty easy day. So let's get this going. So this is what I'm gonna start with. I'm gonna start spraying all the bolts and screws, nuts, everything that I need to remove, because especially on your lower control arms on these old cars, the bolts always tempt to break, especially if you use an impact gun, and that's what I'll be using. So I'm gonna soak them up with this BP penetrating spray. It's what I'm gonna spray them with. That way, you know, they start getting lubricated, and hopefully I don't break anything or anything gets stuck. So while the bolts underneath are being penetrated by the BP lubricant, I'm gonna sit here and remove these pipes and see if those old headers actually fit on here. Alright guys, so here I have the two pipes next to each other, and you guys could tell the significant difference how thick these things are. And you know, the problem is that, you know, this sits pretty close to your oil pan, and so you guys can see basically now you got like an extra two inches being pushed out to the bottom. So now these things sit so low because your car's lowered. And then as you guys can see on these OEM ones, you know, it's designed perfectly, so they tuck right against the oil pan and just sit real flush. So, you know, that's the downside on these. Well guys, as you guys can see, we got these ugly headers on here, and they actually fit. So, you know, if we come down here, basically all you see now is just the pipe sitting on the bottom. You know, it's basically flush now. So, you know, that's definitely a plus, and that's definitely gonna save us a lot of height. So for now, what I'm thinking now of doing is keeping these on here, and what I'll do, I'll probably just modify an end piece with a downspout, so it pushes all down instead of pushing it back towards the back. So I'm just gonna give it an angle down, and I'll run it open header for now. This thing's gonna be loud as heck, but just to get the job done, and then, you know, we'll see if I end up just keeping some stock ones or, you know, upgrading to some better pipes. But for now, I'm actually happy that this thing worked out. So this is definitely a plus. So now that I know that these pipes fit, what I'm gonna do is just disconnect the whole exhaust all the way to the back, take it all out, take it all off, and, you know, that way it won't just be hanging there. So I think we should be good there. And what I'm gonna do now is start installing these arms. All right, guys, so I pretty much got everything disconnected. All I'm gonna do now is, you know, disconnect the axle from back there from the transmission. That way I could try to replace that seal and get that taken care of. And then, you know, pretty much just remove that bolt back there from the lower control arm and remove it from the hub assembly. Other than that, the whole lower control arm should be ready to go down. Like I said, this is pretty easy. All it is, you know, bolting everything off and bolting it back on. Nothing too hard. Well, guys, like always, I'm having trouble removing the axle from the transmission. You know, it's got that little lock ring inside, and popping that thing out, it's always a pain in the ass. I already removed the lower control arm, so I have it here. So I'm gonna be sliding this thing in there now, and then I'm gonna see if I can pop that out after. Sometimes you just gotta take a little break from stuff. That way you don't sit there and fight things and hurt yourself. Because that's one of the things, you know, being under there and prying it with a screwdriver, a lot of times it'll just slip and you'll hit something and bust your fingers. Typically what happens. Well, guys, after like 2 hours fighting with this freaking axle, you know, the problem is you got this little ring in there. And I'm thinking, since it's not the OEM, you know, they're always gonna lock differently. So it was a pain in the ass trying to break it out. I mean, the little ring has like little pinch marks. Pretty sure that's probably where it was catching. And, you know, you gotta pry it out. It should easily come out of there, but it sure wasn't. It was such a pain in the ass. But yeah, there we have the axle seal that I'm replacing. You guys can see in there, that's the one that little seal is the one I got to remove and put a new one. As you guys can see, there's no trace of oil right now, any fresh oil. So, you know, all the oil that was up there pretty much leaked out. So that's why I just gotta flush the transmission oil too and put some new one in there, make sure I got the right amount. Other than that, you know, this is the hardest part. Everything else should fall into place after this. Stupid axle taking my day. So here's the old one. Now I have to put the new one in. Alright, guys, so that was pretty easy. There's the new one in there already. So now I'm just gonna tighten these screws, finish putting on this lower control arm, and I should be done on this side. Alright, guys, so I got everything bolted on, pretty much ready to be, you know, pretty much ready to slap the wheel, except I haven't tightened anything, because if you guys come over here and we look at this old lower control arm, you see the bushing is all cracked up. I'm sure you guys can see that. The bushing's all cracked up, and 90% of the time is because we tend to tighten everything when it is stretched down. And then when you put the wheel down and you let the car sit, it adjusts. And since you tighten all this up, the bushing, the rubber's connected to the little spacer in here. So what happens is you put all that tension on it, and eventually over time all the flex ends up cracking it. So what I got going on here is I'm gonna jack everything up till it lifts this off that jack stand a little bit. That way I know it's pretty much reached the level where it's gonna sit on the road, on the ground, you know. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm just gonna jack everything up like so. And you see, just like that, it already took it all off. So now I'm gonna tighten everything right there, so when I slap the tire on and I lower the car down, you know, it's tying at that angle. It's not, you know, flexing the little joint where it rips everything again, because we don't want that. So let me tighten everything up now. All right guys, so here we have it. Basically all done with some new Skunk2 lower control arms underneath here. So you guys can see they're nice and clean now. And then also I got this exhaust, which you can't see, so definitely a good thing, because that means it's flush to my engine, and this should give me a lot of clearance now. And it should be enough room to get onto a lift and get this thing aligned. So I'm gonna take off this catback exhaust, take it off, and I'll probably just do like I said, a little downspout on the exhaust here. I'll probably just weld it onto it and run it like that for a little while, just, you know, till I can figure out what I'm gonna end up doing. If anything, I'll probably end up, you know, slapping the other exhaust on till it's done, or we'll see what happens. Well guys, I'm gonna end the video here now. You know, I'll probably do another video working on the exhaust and everything. You know, I don't want to be making these videos too long, and I do want to have a lot more content on here for you guys. So right now what I'm gonna do is just clean up, get rid of that catback, and then I'll have a video for you guys, probably welding a little downspout on that exhaust. And then also, you know, hopefully I get this thing aligned and I could drive it out somewhere, and I want to make. So yeah, I also want to make you guys a little quick video, you know, drive it out somewhere and show you guys the car a lot more in detail, and kind of give you guys a little bit of the mindset I had when I was doing the shaving in the bay, and, you know, like basically, you know, what I've done to the car, you know, give you guys a little bit more in-depth video, because I really haven't shown it off. I kind of just do things here and there, you know. It's definitely not done, but, you know, kind of a little update, just freshen up the, you know, the people that are just now watching my videos. And, you know, for you old subscribers, you know, I do appreciate everybody watching my videos. You know, give me a thumbs up, share, like, and I appreciate everybody that has subscribed, man. It means a lot, definitely a lot. And yeah guys, I'll end the video here. Till next time, peace.